The Halfbrick Show.
Welcome to the Halfbrick Show, the podcast where we talk to people behind the games and occasionally pretend it's all going to plan.
My name is Aidan. You'll find me on the customer support front lines, based in Australia, where it's already way too hot, and I am so excited to be back for another episode here.
I'm so excited too, Aidan. I get to see everyone here, and we have a lovely chat. My name is Fran. You'll often find me online doing social media for Halfbrick. I'm based in UK where the weather is grey, the pigeons are fearless, and everyone walks like they're late for a train that ends up getting cancelled.
I didn't realise that intro was going to rhyme. Should mine have rhymed? That's great.
Did it rhyme?
I'm based in the UK where the weather is grey. Dropping some bars for the...
Hey, I'm a poet and I didn't know it.
We're also joined by our amazing producer Carmen from the now coined Carmen Control Room over there.
Yeah, thank you. Let's make this a good one.
Yeah, thanks, Carmen.
We will.
No
we
pressure. No
No.
pressure at all, guys.
Now there is pressure because you've said that. But, you know, we'll make it through.
Producer's orders.
Yeah, okay. All right. If you're listening and you have any suggestions on segments or content that you want to see in the Halfbrick Show, let us know in the comments or in our Discord server for Halfbrick, and we'll look to get that in.
Today's episode is a special one because we've got the boss of all marketing himself on, and he's not only the boss of all marketing, but he's our boss. So no more pressure. That Carmen's already given us pressure, but now we've got additional pressure. And on top of that, he's also a bit of a podcast bro. So he actually knows what a podcast should sound like. So no pressure again, team. Okay. That's three pressures now that's upon us.
Pressure just cancels out, hopefully.
Three pressures.
Who the brick are you?
So yeah, today's guest is basically the main character of every Teams channel. So it's our boss, Eli.
Main character of every Teams chat? I don't know about that.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome, Eli.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor. An honor to be among the first guests.
Yeah, you are. You should... you're the boss. The boss of the Teams chat and...
The boss? No.
The boss.
Just another idiot.
To clarify, there was no boss privilege to get you on this slot, though. This was just how it lined up.
No, just awake.
Yeah.
Awake at the right time.
Yeah.
What time is it over there?
It's 1:18 a.m. currently in Eastern Tennessee.
Yeah.
I
don't know if we'd call that the right time.
I mentioned I'm one of the few Americans that work at Halfbrick, so I feel like when you're an American in a foreign company where most people are in Australia or in Europe, you're always sort of odd man out either way. So I've accepted it. I'm fine.
That's how we respect it immensely.
Wow.
We get it kind of easy. At least me being in Australia, with a lot of the team, Australia, Europe. It's, I stay up a little late, a little early, not 1 a.m. thankfully. I thank you for your sacrifice.
I'm used to it. It's really no big deal. There's nothing going on here today anyway. I mean, everyone's asleep, so I might as well be on my computer.
Yeah, no better place to be than the Halfbrick Show as well.
Exactly. So I usually say I split my time between my work windows and the fun windows, and this is kind of both. It's a work window, but it's a fun window. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully. That's the goal of definitely.
We'll see.
Well,
No pressure.
there's some fun segments coming up that Fran has cooked on, I gotta say, every time.
We love a good segment, that's for sure.
Oh, you'll love these. These is the juiciest grapefruit segments that you'll ever come across.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that a Fruit Ninja reference? If so.
Well, it wasn't deliberate, but yes, it can be.
It is now. As a producer, I feel like it might have to be now.
Yeah,
Fruit Ninja
Fruit
reference.
mentioned.
So, guys, go play Fruit Ninja.
Oh, well. every time like anything food related, we can circle back to a Fruit Ninja plug. Probably, yeah. That sounds valid.
Perfect.
It only has to be about fruit, though.
Yeah.
Like I can't mention cake.
That's true.
We circle back to Fruit Ninja.
Well,
We
you
can't
never know.
announce
I mean,
Cake
like,
Ninja.
if you go deep enough, you could probably find one of the Fruit Ninja collabs over the years that is vaguely cake related.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a Fruit Ninja movie, which is actually currently out now. There's a there's a pavlova, I think, somewhere in that.
There you go.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's like an Australian cake. For the couple of times I have it to say I'm Australian.
I'm convinced there's a pavlova in that game, and that's almost a cake.
Could you probably explain what that is for the Americans in the room?
Oh, yeah. Friend, do you want to? Yeah.
I mean, it might be different from an Australian pavlova, but in the UK, a pavlova is mostly meringue.
Yeah, that sounds right. It's ringing some bells.
Yeah.
Meringue crust with like soft inside, like crusty outside, soft inside. Yeah.
Right. Other than that, I have no clue because I've only just seen a heaped crust of meringue piled high. I've no idea what's inside.
You have to explain this in the context of an extremely processed, very shelf-stable food product for me to know what you're talking about. Like, how close to a Twinkie is it?
The inside is probably the closest thing.
All right.
Yeah.
So that white stuff is probably is almost inside the pavlova.
Okay.
And like,
I think
it say like crystallized a bit on the edges, like the sugar got hard and turned into a crunchy crystal shell of Twinkie filling that also tastes slightly lemony. Yeah, I think it's lemon. Oh man,
I mean,
don't
honestly, this is like
any of this.
One of the fun parts of working with people all over the world, though, is you learn about all their crazy different exotic desserts and stuff.
Well, what are you bringing us, Eli, next time we see you? What's the go-to?
I don't know. I gave out little 3D printed goblins last time.
Yeah, they didn't taste the best. No, I didn't I wasn't even at that one.
I don't know. It's hard because like the Australian customs is so hardcore, right? Like,
yeah.
I brought in some like protein bars, and they gave me like the whole inspection on them.
Did they get through?
Yeah, like ultimately they didn't care, but like they needed to look at the ingredients, which I don't know what they were looking for, but I was just like, all right, throw them away if I can't bring them. I don't care. Like,
yeah, I'm not bringing anything edible in, anything that can cause me to essentially get there and then get deported back again. So I will bring some of the finest in British ornaments, or like, you know, essentially tacky tourist items.
Nice.
So something with Oxford on it, or something with London on it.
The double-decker bus, little die, like cast iron or whatever it is, like the Matchbox car looking thing. That's always a classic, right?
If that's what you want, you can have it.
I have one of those. That was my souvenir when I was in London, because you have to buy that.
I'll get you a Lego one.
How about a little phone booth? I also have one of those.
Well, then you don't need another one. But they do Lego London buses. They're very cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. The Lego store in London is just, as you can imagine, Touristville. But it's also full of little Lego Londoners.
my Lego Game Boy, which is out of reach right now, but my Lego Game Boy, I just bought it to put it, or I got it from Amazon. I need to put it together at some point when I have time to do things that are fun.
Oh.
I should have made a Halfbrick variant with all the old Halfbrick Game Boy games.
Good idea.
That would have been. Oh, you know, I'm just saying, easy Lego collaboration. You know, that's easy.
Well, you gotta be careful before this turns into another albatross like the Barry plush.
Oh, yeah, the Barry U2s.
I love the Barry
U2s.
And yet here we are.
Yeah, we should have a whole segment on the Barry plush.
Lucas probably just woke up in a cold sweat, not knowing why.
I love the
Aw.
berry plush. I can't wait to see it in
For
person
context
personally.
of anyone listening, the berry plush has kind of turned into an inside joke in the marketing team because we did one of these things where it's like you pre-order the plush, but I don't think at the time, like when we thought it was a good idea, I don't think anyone realized how expensive it was shipping and stuff. Shipped all over the world to like a global fan base, so it's very, very, very difficult to get anyone to buy these things because the shipping was just absurd. So yeah, it's
Naturally.
inadvertently probably going to turn into like a fairly rare Halfbrick thing, just because
Yeah.
like people looked at it and were like, "Oh, berry plush, that's cool. $50, what?" Or however much it costs,
Yeah, it'll become like a collector's item, because it's so limited. It'll become, like you say, this rare piece of Halfbrick merch that's just gonna.
Well, the berry plush taught us a valuable lesson that global logistics is very difficult. So, one of these things you take for granted when you deal in the world of digital distribution of stuff, and it's just like, oh yeah, we can just send stuff anywhere, right? No,
You can just download the berry plush, right? Like the games. No.
Yeah. So that's why we do craft stuff, like all your social media stuff, like just paper craft. You can download a PDF anywhere, and you're good to go.
Yeah, maybe origami Barry is what's on the cards for next time.
There you go.
Yeah,
I love it.
Very, very detailed foldable Barry. Just like 1,000 folds, and it turns into Barry.
There's got to be some freak on Fiverr that like is really good at that kind of stuff that can make us the craziest origami you've ever seen for like $8.
Sure.
I'll give him $10 to make the best one.
Well,
yeah.
Barry, what would you call it? Like Barrygami? Or would you just...
Yeah, there you go.
Something like that.
There you go.
We can't put this podcast on. It's filled with too many good ideas.
I know. But this is like your entire job, Eli, right? Like these great ideas for promoting Halfbrick.
I don't know. My actual job is just Teams meetings all day long. So,
but some of them.
But being the main character of them.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, this one, yeah.
I don't think I'm the main character, but okay, I'll take it.
As a guest, I think we can say every guest of the Halfbrick Show is a main character for that week.
Fair.
Just for that week. That's it. Yeah, it's Fran's world. No,
yeah.
What?
Well, I don't. You don't want to call anyone else the main character, and I love the ideas you bring. So I say, if we're picking the main character of the Halfbrick Show, Fran, I would pick you. The segments.
I'll second that. So there you go.
Well.
By Robert's Rules of Order, that means you're the main character, Fran. Do you guys have that in the UK, or is that an American thing?
Robert's Rules?
Oh my gosh. New rabbit hole unlocked for you guys. Yeah, so when you're on a board or anything like that, a club potentially that keeps minutes and all that kind of stuff, you do things by Robert's Rules of Order. It's on my bookshelf over there. I see it right now. It's a very boring book that basically is how you I don't know. This is a really long story. It's how you interface with boomers, basically.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we used to be members of this like social club in my old neighborhood, which was really just like a bar with an interesting cover due to local liquor laws. But yeah, if you want anything changed, you had to go to the meetings, and the meetings ran by Robert's Rules of Order. And if you know them, it's like you have a cheat code for getting things done. So.
Oh right, yeah. I'm quite good at doing that.
So it's all about calling like points to order and then getting a second, and like all this kind of stuff. It's a very structured way to run a meeting. We'll do it sometime if you want. It'll break your brain. The kind of stuff that's rattling around in my head.
Oh, does Robert have to be in the meeting with us?
No, I think it's the guy's last name that wrote the rules.
Oh, okay.
But
that's all right then.
Is there always someone called Robert in the meeting?
No, there's probably someone listening to this that's like adjacent to their homeowners association. It's like, I know exactly what Eli's talking about right now. And everyone else is like, what on earth am I listening to?
Well, I've learned something.
There you go.
Right. Well, we do have some important questions about games, believe it or not, as well, Eli. And this is probably like the most important question of all time that anyone listening to the Halfbrick Show will probably get sick of us asking this to a guest. But Eli, what is your favorite video game of all time? Like, what got you into games as a whole?
Well, that's a different. Those are different questions, though, right? Like,
Oh yeah, okay.
My favorite video game of all time is Ultima Online, without any hesitation at all. Like, no
Okay.
thinking, no nothing. That's just the default answer.
Well, Ultima Online. Is that still
Yeah.
online?
It is if you want to play. Well, yeah, actually, it's still going. It's an MMORPG. The weekend of Bernie's corpse of the game is still being run by I think a studio called Broadsword out of the Boston area, maybe, or I don't know,
Okay.
southeastern Canada or something like that. But there's like um all kinds of like community run servers that still exist, but you need to be a special kind of hardcore to participate in any of that these days.
Right. Oh yeah, 1997,
Yeah. I
released
was
by
there day
Origin Systems.
one. Launch day, baby.
Wow, September 24th. Yeah, crazy. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Ultima. There's multiple games, right?
It's a
Okay.
life changer of a game.
Okay, but it's
So
not the one that
what?
got you into games.
I don't know. That'd probably be some Atari 2600 thing or something I played as a kid,
Mm,
or Apple IIc game or something like that. I don't know. I've been into games all my life, so it's really hard to say like what got you into gaming. I feel like,
right.
I've just always been into it.
Why Ultimate Online? I am aware of this game. I have never played it.
Well, it's the best game ever made.
Okay, so explain a little bit to me why.
Well, so to understand why Ultima Online is so good, you have to kind of understand what was happening in the world of like online gaming in like 1996 into 1997. So the beta launched, I think, late 96, and it launched in 97 or maybe a year earlier. I don't really remember. But like, so at that time, there was no voice chat online. Well, there was voice chat, but it was very limited. And it was like a feature of things like M-Player or these other kind of like weird online lobbies that were like trying to stitch together like a way for you to play Quake and things like that with friends, right? So what was very interesting about Ultima Online at the time was coordination with people online was difficult, right? Like this was in the early days of like ICQ and AOL Instant Messenger, and things along those lines, right? But this was, and I guess like Internet Relay Chat (IRC), like that was a thing too. But nothing was ubiquitous at the time, so it wasn't like, oh, just let's join a Discord server together or anything else like that, right? So um, as a result, it was an MMO that was very difficult to play and very difficult to find people in and very difficult to like meet up with someone again. So it's I don't know, it had this like mystique to it as a result because like um the only thing that would have been similar to this would have been like MUDs, like Legend of the Red Dragon or other stuff like that, where you're able to play these kind of games online with people across like a BBS or other things along those lines, right? Um, but Ultima Online being like the first kind of like real MMO, and I know there's like others like Meridian 59 and other games like that. They're like, if you find the right kind of nerd, they'll argue that Ultima Online wasn't the first MMO. But what was so interesting about it was that they had all of these problems from how like forward facing the game was at the time, because no one had done a lot of this stuff before. Like no one had done a thing where it's like, oh, here's a capital city in a game where you can have hundreds of people hanging around. Uh, how do you deal with like the social dynamics of like players being able to attack other players? Like how do you deal with the dynamics of like players being able to steal from other players and all this other stuff, right? So
Right.
so what was so good about it was that like the base kind of like sandbox open world nature of the game was like it gave players just enough tools to do just truly crazy stuff, right? And what was, I don't know, like truly magical about the time, and this is like something that like if you were interested in this, and you're like, oh, that sounds cool. What Eli's talking about, like, I should check out this Ultima Online game. Like, it's gone. Like, that's the other thing is it's like it's gone. Like the Ultima Online of 1997 will never exist again because like it was a very, very, very cruel place for people that didn't know what they were doing, right? Because
Right.
back in the day, this was a new thing for like everyone, right? So if you weren't able to like really pick up quickly on how these like different systems in the game worked, it created this kind of like multi-tier system where it was like the haves and the have-nots and like I don't know, like the wolves and the sheep or however else you want to put it, right? And like that social dynamic of like meeting someone random in the game, like learning something you didn't know about the game that like made you a better player, that gave you an advantage on other people that like didn't know this trick or didn't know about this thing or whatever else, was just like something that could only happen in this like really very special time of the internet where like the proliferation of that information was difficult, you know? So I don't know. It's difficult to describe if you weren't there. It's just like the right place, right time, right sandbox, right inaccessibility of information. Um, because like now, comparatively, and as a result, like a lot of the stuff in the game like felt genuinely magical. Like when you discovered like a new thing or like found a
Yeah.
new dungeon or whatever else, it was like, holy cow! Like, I didn't even know this was here. Like I've walked past this cave 100 times. I didn't even know what was inside of it. As opposed to now, like when a new World of Warcraft expansion drops or whatever else, it's like literally everything in that game has a wiki or like a
Yeah.
Reddit post or a guide or like an add-on that just like autopilots you through all that kind of stuff. Like there's no discovery anymore.
Yeah.
And Ultima Online, because of the very unique time that the game came out, the state of the internet, the state of like social media not existing, communication being difficult and everything else, like information could be siloed and you could have those discoveries. And that's effectively gone, especially in an
Yeah.
online game where there's any level of kind of competition or PvP or economic stuff or anything like that. It just gets power game to oblivion. That information is dispersed and then it's like ruined for everyone. So that's why it's the best game ever made. So,
Did it have like in-game text chat, or how was? Because no
yes,
party system.
but it was proximity based. So your text appeared above your
Proximity
character,
text.
and if you weren't near someone, you couldn't see what they were saying. So that was kind of like the other thing too, is because of the way that chat worked in the game, like you could literally lose people in the woods by just like
That's so
Oh,
cool.
having them
wow.
run a different direction. You're like, I don't even know where they are. I can't message them. It's like, all right, well, bye. So
That's so cool.
again, I don't know. You should
Oh,
probably ask a different question. I could spend an hour talking about this game. I give a TED talk on why Ultima Online is the best game ever made.
I didn't have like PC when I was growing up, not until a lot older. So I missed out on all these 90s era of like MMOs and stuff. But it sounds pretty cool. I definitely probably would have played that had I had the option.
Well, and one more thing about it is a game with that, and again, this launch era, a game with legitimate danger, because like you could go out in the woods. So if you get killed by a monster, you're killed by a player or whatever, you lose all of your junk. Like your stuff just stays on your corpse, right? So like
And
I
other
don't know.
people can
And
live it.
again, like it's another one of these things, like you die on World of Warcraft or whatever. I guess unless you're playing on hardcore servers, it's like, oh, well, whatever, who cares?
All right, well, we'll move on because I know you could happily do your TED talk.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be like some sort of after dark Halfbrick show.
The Ultima Online show.
Yeah.
Featuring Halfbrick.
I mean, I feel like the next chapter of our segment, Fruit Ninja segment, will end up just going on a tangent anyway. So when you're not almighty overlord of the marketing team, what do you do in your spare time?
You mean when I'm not working? I don't know. It's
You do have a moment, like, because I well know for a fact you are a D&D enthusiast.
Oh yeah, I run a D&D game every Friday night with friends. I do that. We're currently playing Waterdeep Dragon Heist, specifically the Alexandrian remix. If there's any true OGs out there that can appreciate fan-made errata on top of a published adventure. But yeah, that's been That's been going. That game's been going for over a year now, which is like a new record. Because like usually when you play with like other adults that have like wives and kids and boring stuff like that, there's always things where the campaign just sort of fizzles out after a while.
Yeah, 100%.
But man, we've been through like I don't know. It's surprising the durability of the group that I'm playing with now. We've been through like choir competitions and weddings and like you name it, like all kinds of campaign destroyers, and we just keep on going. But
So
yeah,
you are the DM.
Dungeon Master, yeah.
Yeah. Give us your best DM. I don't know. Explain your surroundings to us in your DM voice.
Oh, I don't. I that's like the one thing that I don't do is I never do voices.
Oh, not even for a character. Not even
No,
for like a.
I describe how they sound instead. Like I don't
All
know.
right, describe then. Describe a tavern or something. Actually, you might have to cut that bit out. Carmen. Let's start again. Describe a tavern
maiden. A beautiful tavern maiden.
Thank you, Carmen. Producer Carmen.
Okay, well, this is a little hard to do on the spot, but so let's say you're wandering down the street of whatever fantasy city you're in, or town, I suppose. Actually, yeah, let's do a town. That's usually easier. So, inn is usually the center of the town. It's where everything's happening. You see some barrels outside that the rain gutters drizzle into, overflowing because it's been raining recently. Outside, there's a couple guys look like they've had a little too much to drink, maybe potentially got thrown out recently, looking a little suspicious. Um, you know, and again, just like leaving hooks everywhere for your party to come back and be like, oh, I want to go talk to those guys outside. They sounded like they were up to no good. So anyway, you walk inside. Two saloon doors kind of squeakily bust open as you walk through. Inside, you're overcome with the smell of three things: human body odor, spilled beer, and some kind of roasting meat that you have yet to identify. As you come in, people sort of look at you, but you don't seem super threatening, so they just sort of turn back to what they're doing. It's a low murmur in the bar, but nothing you can't talk over. A little too much going on for you to kind of point out one specific conversation, but it seems like the talk of the town is like wolves that seem to be threatening a local farm. You can't really tell if they are, actually supernatural or if these are just tall tales that are being told. So anyway, you walk towards the bar. In front of you is a woman that looks like she's got a story to tell. Looks like she doesn't really necessarily belong here. And you can kind of tell that because she's got some suspicious jewelry on and a hairstyle that does not fit the rest of the bar. It's like an elaborate braided sort of thing. Where everyone else, anyone that is braiding their hair is not braiding it as elaborately as this. Like think of like the mix of like boxer braids plus something you would expect to see in like an elven city or something. She glances at you and asks, "What can I do you for?"
Well, I want to roll a perception check.
For what? What are you perceiving?
I'm perceiving her hair. I want to know the elaborate braids. I haven't got a dice.
All right. Well, we'll say DC of 15. You roll. You fail.
Oh, what?
It's like I don't know. She's got nice braids.
Yeah, but they could have been from some place,
Right? Like I was there.
I mean, yeah, you rolled a 20, so.
No, it's I really enjoy doing this kind of stuff because it's just storytelling mixed with hanging out with friends, and D&D is always really fun because you just never know what's going to happen, right? Like, the dice can do all sorts of truly crazy things, and you just got to roll with
them
it.
remote? Like,
yeah,
are they online?
We play over Discord, and use an online platform called Roll20 to manage like the tabletop and dice rolls and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's sick. Okay. D&D adjacent. If Halfbrick characters were in like your D&D party, excuse me, I gotta remember the terminology here. So we got, you got a tank, a bard. No, let's just say tank and bard. Who's a tank? Who's a bard? And who of the Halfbrick roster are always rolling natural ones, other than
Oh man. Well, I would say no one rolls natural ones at Halfbrick for one. Um, I don't know. So of this podcast, I would say that Fran's got some like major like chaotic neutral rogue vibes. I could see her playing like some kind of like elaborate race that you don't see a lot, like maybe a drow or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I'll take that.
Aiden, you strike me as kind of like a basic barbarian kind of guy, like human barbarian. Maybe Goliath barbarian if you wanted to get weird with being like extra big. And then Carmen, I don't know, like some kind of like elven bard, maybe something along those lines.
I could see that. Producer bard.
Yeah.
Never been accused of that. I usually played rogues or wizards. So.
Wow.
Next time. Next campaign, right?
Yeah, I could see Aiden also being like the lawful good person that just annoys the party, that never wants to do anything fun.
Man, I can't even go and ask for like a refund if I've been given the wrong thing, man.
What? I am all about that.
But I would not enjoy the experience. So
I'd do it for you. I would be up there at the counter demanding a refund and also an apology because, you know, they got it wrong.
I'll be like, sorry, you're right. I did all of the wrong thing. I don't know. I haven't played a campaign. I think there's one called like Gene Funk. It's like a cyberpunk story. It was pretty fun, but that one fizzled out. That was the fizzle out experience. For me,
it happens all the time. It sucks. Like, how many sessions did you get in? Like, that's always like the true kick in the junk, is like when you put all this effort into your character because they're like, all right, everyone's gonna do backstories and all this stuff, and you play like twice.
It's probably like what, maybe 6 or 7. Not to incite people with that meme. Sorry if anyone's got brain rot on that. Yeah,
man, that makes me feel old.
That's genuine. That was a real answer. And a couple of people in the party had kids around our age. They're going and having kids, and
there you go.
That's life. So I respect yours for running as long as it has. That's so cool.
Yeah. Well, I think the campaign is going to kind of wrap kind of soon because we're kind of running out of things to do. And then I'm torn between like starting a Curse of Strahd game, or I just bought the books for Dungeon Crawl Classics, which is like a old school kind of more old school sort of system that you kind of play with like a horde of guys. So the idea is like it's like a backstory generator more or less. So you have all these like characters that are effectively just like commoners, right? And if you get hit once, you die, kind of thing. But you play with like a horde of them, and the idea is that like at the end of the adventure, the few people that survive have this automatic backstory of like, oh my god, I was like guy number 8 and I saw this guy right in front of me, got his head chopped clean off, but like I managed to evade that, and then I got like the treasure and got out, or like whatever else, like so. Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Classics.
Well, at least you got a plan straight for the next one. I think that's the secret. Just don't give people a gap to get out.
Oh, there'll be no gap. Yeah. Yeah. I'm holding on to these guys for all it's worth.
Yeah, definitely, man. Fran, is it time for a quiz round?
It's time for a quiz round. Eli, you're in for a treat. We're going to play a game called This or That. Now, you either know the game or you don't. I basically select a prompt, you select an answer you like the most, and everyone's a winner. So, are you ready to play This or That?
Yes, of course.
That was the right answer, because it's this or that. And that was the right answer. So, clicky keys or silent switches?
Silent switches.
Bitcoin or cold hard cash?
Bitcoin.
Oh.
Dungeon Master or Chief Marketing Officer?
Oh, Dungeon Master. I don't like my CMO title. I never use it.
Which is your...
Seems douchey.
Which is your favorite techie buzzword right now?
What are the options?
You tell us.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Oh man. Synergy or machine learning?
I'm a big fan of synergy. Let's just say that. That's a good one. Who is your dream podcast guest, and why is it probably you?
No. Well, I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't have a good answer for you.
What about, like, if you're just thinking for this Halfbrick Show podcast that we're working on, right?
Yeah.
Who would the dream guest to be on this show, if you could get us to get anyone on here?
Man, that's a tough one because like Halfbrick's been around for like so long. And this is something that I've kind of experienced, working here. Is Halfbrick's been around for like so long, and people like Halfbrick so much that it's like any dream guest you could come up with could probably just be like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, whatever. I'd love to be on the
That's
Halfbrick
true.
Show.
Yeah, that was the game of this or that.
With extra this or that at the end where you could put your own. We do have a round 2 though of the quizzes. This one's fun. I I try to do it myself, but we'll say it's called Guess the Community Comment, right? So,
I love
you know,
this.
you'll get comments everywhere.
Do you have number one cursed review? Or how about,
No.
is the review real or fake? That could be a segment.
That would actually be an amazing segment. Like at customer support, we see, every review basically for the games. We'll have to do that, friend. We'll have to put that in a future episode. Is this review real or fake? Right now we've got comments. Yeah.
Although I feel like you'd have to do like which review is real and which is fake. You pick between the two.
Oh, I
One
see.
real review, one fake review.
Yeah, that could be great. I don't want people to start leaving like crazy reviews just to get on the podcast. But if you do, just make it 5 stars, please. All right. Well, for today, the comments. Has it been made up by Fran and myself? The comment reads, and I quote, "Still dodging missiles like my problems for real." Pray hands emoji. And for real is FR for the cool kids listening.
I mean, that sounds real. That's believable.
You say that's a real comment?
Yeah, of course that's a real comment. I see that kind of stuff on YouTube like all the time. If it's not real, there's definitely parts of it that have been posted somewhere. Although I guess it didn't include Dan the Man 2 win, so
There you go. It was a trick. This one was made up. We tried really hard to make it seem like a real one, but it wasn't quite a real one. Pray hands emoji and dodging missiles like jetpack. So unfortunately, the golden keycap award for this one isn't coming your way. But we now have a great idea for the next segment when we do reviews. That's going to be so good. That's going to be in a future episode.
I think the problem is you have to, if you want to keep the podcast like E for everyone, it will be not as much fun as it could be for an adults only episode.
We've seen some wild reviews. Internally, we shared one last week that I can't really even read on this podcast, I would imagine, but it was funny.
It broke the number of laugh reacts
within the company.
The record for most laugh reacts to a Teams message, I think, ever.
Yeah, and Eli, you've printed that out and put it on your wall as like a historic moment in the company, right?
Well, I put all the great achievements of the company on the wall, like Fran's Brand 24 certificate.
I know. I answered 9 questions correctly to get that.
Did you guys even know that you were amongst a Brand 24 certified specialist?
Well, they do now.
I'm so sorry, Fran.
Well, now you know.
That's going to be the biggest shout out Brand 24's probably ever had as well.
I know. They're going to have their own internal reports for social media that are going to pick up on this and be like, oh my God, we got the Halfbrick Show bump.
Yes, you're welcome.
They'll put it right next to the statue of Fran.
Yeah.
For completing the course in their office. Obviously, there's another comment that we need to ask as well, Eli, because it'll come up, and we want to get your unique answer. Where is Dan the Man 2?
I think I'm the only person that actually knows where Dan the Man 2 is. I'm surprised people don't ask me more.
Oh.
Where is it? It's actively being developed in Spain. Not that far from Carmen. Actually, I think their team's international, but a lot of them are based in Spain. I don't know. I should know that.
So we should ask Carmen where Dan the Man 2 is. No.
All I know is I ask the question all the time. Is where is Dan the Man 2?
And we do see the comments as well, to clarify.
Yeah.
Even though I'm sure Fran also replies to them.
I do.
I think I've seen a fair few.
You know, and I like to try and get a little creative when I reply to the comments because no one wants to see a copy or paste reply. So I do hand type each and every comment to everyone who writes Dan the Man 2 when I respond, and I respond with love and kindness.
I mean, the Dan the Man 2 team is genuinely working on some like very cool stuff. Like I'm really excited for the things that they've got going in the future. Like a lot of the work that they're doing has to do with like foundational stuff to make a game that's like very extensible to the future, that will be really conducive to all kinds of different like content updates and crossovers and like all sorts of fun stuff like that. So it'll get there when it's done, but it'll be really good when it is.
Yeah. It's like the epitome of let them cook, I think.
No, 100%.
Dan the Man 2.
And honestly, like I think the release of Bluey's Quest on console is like really gonna kind of refactor a lot of the forward-facing stuff that we do after people see like what a console release looks like. That was a big initiative of mine to push that through. So I don't know. Dan the Man 2 on Switch 2 when.
Oh God,
man.
that's a whole new can of worms you've just opened for me.
The console initiative though is so cool. Can we just say that? Like a Halfbrick game on like any console these days. I'm so excited.
I want that to be a big part of our 2026 plans, is figuring out what other stuff we can get on console.
Yeah. At the very least, we'll get a printed copy of Where is Dan the Man 2 physical for someone. Maybe even if it's just for me.
Perfect.
But something physical. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for surviving the quiz rounds, Eli.
I mean, you may have already just answered this question, but like, what's one thing you've learned in your time in the video games industry you wish more people would just understand?
Oh man, that's a tough one, because it's like I think I wish that more people understood how complicated making games actually is, and how no one ever wants to ship a bad game. I think like that's and those two things kind of like usually go together. And there's usually a lot of crazy things that happen during development that is unforeseen and everything else. And I can guarantee, like, and as a result, what you see a lot too is, game reviews. So I guess this is more true of like my work in the console space, but it was like, there's no one that's aware of the faults of games more than the actual people that made them. Like that's kind of like the thing that particularly in the advent of I don't know, like YouTubers and this like weird kind of like, although I guess that this feels like it has passed a little bit, or maybe I just like don't see it as much anymore, but like the angry YouTuber sort of shtick. Like remember when that was super popular? And I like refuse to even name drop any of the angry names, because there's been, like that was a thing for a while, and I just like the fervor around like these like takedowns of games and stuff like that. It's like yeah, dude, like believe me, I worked on this game. Like no one knows how much I wish that like this thing was different, but it's that way because of like X, Y, and Z, which usually comes down to like budget, time, and like forces outside of your control. And I don't know, it just always bugs me a little bit when you see like these people that think they've stumbled across this like very insightful argument to be made about how bad something is, when it's like, dude, I know, believe me, I know. and I guess like that, to put a positive spin on that, though, like that's one of the things I really enjoy about working at Halfbrick is like we're a company that's lucky enough that we, as a product leadership company, which that's the Halfbrick motto, or one of the tenets of Halfbrick is product leadership. Is we lead with very good products that we take our time with, and very rarely, if ever, kind of like are forced to ship towards dates as like the primary sort of reason why we're releasing something when we do. Um, and Halfbrick fans, as a result, and I just got thoroughly roasted in Discord for this not that long ago by explaining the reason why had needed to push the release date of Jetpack Joyride Racing another time. It's like kind of get
Oh yeah.
roasted for it when it happens, but at the same time, it's really cool to be able to like keep things in the oven until they're ready
Yeah.
instead of working towards the pressure of, hey, if your game's not on the pallet at Walmart by like November 10th, you're missing the holiday this season, and like, it's game over for the company kind of thing. Like, we fortunately don't live in that reality, but a lot of game studios do. So,
Yeah. Well, that's.
long
I was
answer, I
actually almost
suppose.
gonna interject at that same thing, like on the support side. I'm grateful that when we get people come in, they have an issue. A lot of the times with our games like Fruit Ninja, Anime, and Jetpack, those live games, they get fixed pretty quick. I don't know. I'm like, these issues get fixed,
Yeah.
which is incredible.
Well, I think when someone discovers like a actually like unique edge case, like it's usually like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, well, no problem, like we'll fix
yeah,
this, and
it actually was an edge case, and it's like,
yeah.
oh, great, yeah, it's really cool. Oh, it's so good. Did you actually get roasted in the Discord? Sorry, was that real, or was that saying you were
I was being
expecting?
a little sarcastic, but
Oh, okay.
but no, like people were disappointed. I don't think I was personally getting roasted as much as, I mean, Jetpack Joyride Racing is a game that's been delayed, I think, like 3 times now, 4 times
Mm.
now,
And we do
multiple
know it's
times.
fun. Like we know the quality
And
of that.
that's honestly like the part that sucks about delaying it is like
Yeah.
when we do internal play tests, like this game is so good, it's unbelievable. Like it's I don't know. And it's been really cool kind of like seeing the evolution of it from, when it was
Mm.
like had no art, but it was very fun, and now has like art and tracks that are so good that it's like almost kind of distracting how much stuff there is going on in the tracks in the background, and like all
Yeah.
the little Easter eggs and all the other
There's
stuff.
so much going on.
But I don't know. I think things happen for a reason, and
Yeah.
we got a lot of like really good feedback, and some of our final play tests and things like that we're um, trying to do something with, and the way that this game kind of interacts with the new Halfbrick cards ecosystem and all this other stuff is surprisingly complicated.
Yeah.
For us at Halfbrick, because the way that Halfbrick works typically will be, we just have like individual game development teams internally, and those teams just sort of like work on their own thing until it's like ready enough to be put out in a beta test, which is happening right now with Scrapdix and Guncrypt, or and similar games, and
Yeah.
we kind of see how those go, and then we release them, right? But these games that have multiplayer stuff with backend requirements, and then kind of like the Halfbrick Plus ecosystem stuff, and like the new things that we're trying with cards. It's been kind of interesting watching this project, because it's like typically at Halfbrick you can just sort of live inside of your own world and like develop inside of your own team and everything else like that. But these sort of like multifunctional needs of this game is kind of stressing teams in a different
Yeah.
way, because they need to work together, and with systems that kind of cross each other's path all the time, and all this other stuff. So it'll be really good when it launches, though. I am very confident of.
Yeah. It's a huge team project, and I think players will feel that
Yeah.
when it does get in their hands. You did chuck a little mention of Scrapdix. I actually want to do a little promo. I'm just going to say
Do
it
it.
for those who haven't heard. Yeah, Scrapdix. It's in the Discord closed beta kind of system we have now, so you can join our Discord. learn about how to get access to that and share your feedback, which the team reads directly in there. It's a puzzle adventure. It's got archaeology, robots, and a really unique loot management system with like a backpack that manages all the items that you pick up, and you got to organize it. There's so much, I can't really even say more than that. Just go and play it. Go play Scraptics. It's really fun. The characters,
really
Jade
good.
and Ruby, they're really cute. I love that art style.
Yeah, and depending on when you're listening to this, it'll either be available for download on the App Store and Google Play, or you can find the beta in the Discord. So, yeah, it's super fun. It's really cool seeing these games kind of like come across the finish line, because again, like the way that we develop stuff so iteratively internally is like, the first time I saw Scraptics, it was like a hex grid with no art, and it was like, all right, I can see this being pretty fun, and now that's like going out to beta, it's like, and it has like personality now.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, well, that's it really. It was absolute pleasure chatting to you in a format that was not a one-to-one and a beating about, I don't know, down the mad, whatever, Dentman 2.
Metrics.
Daniel the Manual.
Daniel
please.
the Manual.
He's a proper gentleman.
Yeah, that guy. So yeah, appreciate you joining us, Eli. It was a really amazing TED Talk.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And to all the gamers listening, look, like, thank you for listening, for one. If you enjoyed the episode, go and click on all the buttons, tell your friends, your enemies, share it on the social channels, link in bio as usual, so that Eli can see, like, here he is right now. Tell him that it's doing so good and that we should remain employed. And
I'm a big believer in this. It'll do good. It'll be fine. We have a lot of fans.
We do appreciate the support. And
and the stats,
engagement rate.
Exactly.
Let's just see it.
And the stats, the engagement rate, the graphs that we can show Eli to be like, look how good we're doing. That's
It's exactly what we want. So in general, we hope that it has been an episode that you can look back on with nostalgia, and thank you so much for joining us.
Coming up next time on the Halfbrick Show.
From my previous experiences as the support analyst, and
not
also
as a drone pilot.
Not as a drone pilot.